OG Indica. Yes. The hell is he about? He got it damn straight or something. Oh. Oh. It's good.
The Original Mattress Factory, we manufacture and sell only our brand of mattresses. This allows us to eliminate the huge middleman markups that are all too common in the mattress industry.
We do all of our own production. We sell at factory.
This video, which was filmed a well bit ago, but only because me and my man John want to make these videos, not shit and other things got in the way. If you're a degen like me, there's no bigger threat to your bankroll than not staying away from the fruit machines. I ain't talking about the thing in the booth where you put the money and look at the geese or whatever. I'm talking about slots as you know them in the US, pokies in Australia. Be walking through the casino. Oh, there's Mr. Monopoly. Oh, Pax Ajax, Wheel of Fortune. I've seen it on the telly. Oh, there's 007. Oh, there's this, there's that. And next thing you know, it's one more, only one more, just one more. Just like what your mom texts me every fucking Friday night.
Wants to see how far women can drive. It's like seeing how much a baby can bench press. So we're gonna play stupid slots, $20 a spin. I'm gonna put $100 on 36. All right, one more. This is a 1 day, 100K guarantee. I'm gonna try something a little different this time, parkour-wise. Parkour! Ace. Come on. Let's go. Nice. I'll take it. Hardcore D20. Alan's put in 40, cashed out 120. I put in 300, cashed out 374. Let's keep going and get the gym points. Just asking Alan what kind of stupid slot he likes and what's your rule?
I'll play anything, but nothing Asian. That's my number one rule, nothing Asian.
That rules out so many of them. Are you kidding me?
It's like 60%.
They're all Asian or Monopoly or Wheel of Fortune. All right, so we're gonna play 007, Alan and I. But 374, like whatever I put in. And I'm gonna do 5-cent credit, max speed degen, $20 a spin. Yeah, that's a lot of 5-cent credits, huh? I don't like this slot. I'm already over it. Oh shit.
Oh, I know what this means.
Let's go out. Aw. Damn, I'm already down 100. What the fuck? No?
There you go. 7.
Oh, I get it. 007. Bro, fuck this game. Oh my god. Alan got it.
Did you get it?
No.
We got a wheel.
What is going on?
wheel bonus.
Oh my god.
Wait, the Matrix bullshit money.
Yeah, I know. How do you get the grand?
I'm gonna get like 250. Pre-game. Alright.
That's good.
You're betting 20s, but I'm betting 50 cents. It's stupid.
Dude, I literally was sitting here while you did bonus and won $6. I fucking lost $374.
30 cents.
Are you serious? Alright, let's cash out. Alright, so we're gonna play, what is this? Aladdin's Fortune. Aladdin. Yo, this is bugging my eyes out, dude. Holy fuck shit. That's fucking, what's his name? Will Smith. Dude, this is hurting my eyes. He looks like Jesus. We're down $500. That was quick and stupid slots. How are you doing? Any better?
My poker dude, he tripping.
If my man was wearing this, I would be all over him.
That smells really good.
Smells like my guy's cologne.
All right, not bad though. $680. Hey. All right, I mean, I'm just gonna do another 100.
Who the heck can watch somebody play slots? Oh, this dude's pretty decent. Let's see what we're talking about.
I'm expecting to play a pretty short session today. It's going to be a session of many firsts. First session wearing a face mask, six-handed poker here in the Bellagio poker room. Normally I'd be a huge fan of that. Not exactly sure these are the best circumstances for the change to six-handed poker, but definitely a fan of the elbow room and the leg room that provides. There's lots of different methodology that poker rooms are using to deal with the current situation. Here at the Bellagio poker room, they're going six-handed and plexiglass. Again, first time playing with plexiglass, first time playing with a mask on. Probably leave this session a little bit on the earlier side. Then again,
Okay.
It definitely wouldn't be the first time that I end up saying that and end up staying much longer than anticipated. Played one really fun hand of poker so far. There was one limper, looked on at 9-7 of spades and make it 40 to go. The big blind and the limper make the call. Flop ourselves an open-ender. I c-bet it and only the big blind calls. Turn a flush draw, checks, I bet full pot, he calls again. River would make the nuts, just like old times here at the Bellagio. He leads out for $400. That's always fun. He's got about $650 behind or so. I jam it all in, but unfortunately we can't get the rest. No complaints.
Poker vibe. Can you get in a poker vibe? What's good?
Poker vlogging can often come with its own set of difficult circumstances, often in the form of filming and audio and stuff like that. But one of the things that does not usually fall into the difficulty category, the difficult to work with category, is the storyline. Your time at the poker table and the storylines that just naturally develop through a poker session really lend themselves to this medium and often makes it pretty easy to help tell a story. I kept getting whacked by this one guy on my direct right. He just owned me 2 or 3 times. It didn't help that I kept trying to bluff him and he just wasn't in a folding mood, so there was definitely some contributions that were given on my end. The first time that I get absolutely wrecked versus this guy is when we are in a 3-bet pot, small blind versus button. It's going to be a pretty frequent situation. Playing 6-handed, you're probably going to want to be 3-betting a decent percentage of your hands that are playable. Playing out of position kind of sucks in this game. Anyway, this is one of those instances where I take the king 10 off suit, barrel the flop, check on the turn, and then fire on the river, which is ace high. But my opponent is apparently non-believing and calls us down with like 19th pair. Clearly that one does not work out. A little bit later on, blind versus blind. I have the queen 9 offsuit. I raise pre-flop. I bet flop. I bet turn after we turn double gutter. Again, he's just not believing. I give it up on the river. Maybe I should fire, maybe not, who knows. But anyway, he calls us down with 37th pair on the board this time. So yeah, clearly this guy has my number, but good news is there are other opponents at the table that we can try and win some money off of. And as mentioned, storylines developing. Turns out I can get revenge versus a completely different opponent. In this hand, we get a little bit of a get back here. Pocket queens helps to have a premium hand. 3-bet pre-flop, bet the flop. He's pretty short stacked and it does not give us the rest of the chips on the turn, but it sets up all of these things. It's set up for a pretty nice sequence later on, and definitely in the hand of the night when we look down at pocket 9s. We go ahead and raise the pre-flop in a 3-way pot, going to a flop, which comes down ace, deuce, 3, rainbow. The aforementioned player leads right out on this flop. He leads into us for $50. Obviously not the best flop, but I wonder if there are some circumstances and some instances where my opponent could have a worse hand that is sort of testing the waters. Probably not too often, but for one single bet with just the one overcard, I'm not too eager to fold pocket 9s right away. I make the call for $50 and the player behind me folds. The turn comes down a beautiful 9 of hearts. He puts out another bet. It's only $70, and the fact that A, it's a small bet, B, there's a flush draw on board, C, he has seen me sort of bluffing my face off versus another opponent at the table, and he folded in the previous hand when I had pocket queens against him. I think he might be a little bit curious, and with my reputation that I've developed thus far, I don't think he's going to fold all that often once he's led into me again. So I make it $230 here on the turn. He thinks for a while and then he makes the call. River is a perfect card. It's an offsuit jack, so nothing changes. The flush draw misses. Potential pair plus straight draws such as like ace 5, those do not improve either. A good hand such as like ace 3, something like that, is going to be very incentivized to call another bet. So after he checks it over to me, $650 is the price, and my opponent thinks for a very long time. I think somebody calls the clock on him. I'm not entirely sure though. I didn't hear anybody. He said he heard somebody call the clock. Don't know. Doesn't matter. Most important fact is that he ends up making the call. So we're going to scoop those chips in. That's the pot of the night for sure. Things work out in the end. It's a swingy session at the Bellagio. We were up early in the session, as reported earlier. Then I was down somewhere around $500, maybe $600. Finished the session up just about this much. quite happy with it. As a guy who has not played a single hand of live poker since March of this year, quite happy with it.
He plays in this tournament sometimes.
Hurry, guys, the internet's on sale. High-speed internet access from WoW. All the stuff you love and need. Shopping, browsing, streaming. For the unbelievably low price of $34.99.
It's a 2-5 hand, Verona Casino. It's a 500 to 15 cap.
What casino?
Verona.
A Verona in, where is that exactly? I've never
San
been.
Diego.
In San Diego,
Indian
okay.
Casino. Yeah.
In San Diego, okay, cool. So this is Indian Casino in California. They don't have any restrictions, right?
They don't, but unfortunately, like, this casino did close down, the poker room closed down when COVID happened, and they say they're not bringing it back. But we've had the 7 Mile Card Clubs opened up, and then we have Mool opened up.
And Morongo too, right?
Morongo, yeah, that's a bit of a drive here, though.
So did they? So anybody doesn't know about local California politics. This is actually what. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's actually what stops online poker really from ever coming to California, and I really don't know if we'd ever see it in our lifetime, is that the Native American casinos have deep pockets and have a lot of lobbying interests in Sacramento, and they are the ones basically that are blocking it. What was interesting is that after the card rooms reopened and then shut down, I'm pretty sure the Indian casinos, the Native American reservations, they're not subject to any type of state regulations, right? Like they can do whatever they want. Could they even play without masks if they wanted to?
No, they were enforcing masks. But yeah, you are right. Like, I know for a while there, Hamul was the only 9-handed game in the state that was open in an actual establishment.
Yeah.
And like they just reopened the 7 Mile. That's not an Indian casino, but they did the whole outdoor thing like we're doing in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So 2-5, 500 to 1500.
Yeah. So we're 1600 effective in this hand. Folds to the cutoff, who is a pretty solid regular. Opens to 20. And Hero is on the button with the Queen of Hearts, Queen of Spades. And we 3-bet to 80.
So cutoff opens 20, Hero on button, Queen of Hearts, Queen of Spades, 3-bets to 80.
Yep. And the big blind cold calls. And so the action goes back to the cutoff. And now the cutoff actually 4-bets to 250. And I think in this spot, the only thing really to do with my hand is just call. And then the big blind also overcalls.
So
the big blind's actually kind of like a big whaley fish type of guy. Like I said, the cutoff's a pretty solid regular.
So what's interesting here? What's your name?
Corey.
Corey. What's interesting here, Corey, of course, is if you've heard Crash Light Poker Training and looked a lot about some of the newer school thoughts of pre-flop, that 4-bet from the cutoff is going to and should be a lot wider because of the dead call in between from the big blind, especially if you're fishy because there's more dead money out there, than it would be if you guys were even just heads up. Meaning, like, even if it was a late position configuration, you guys are pretty deep, right? I mean, you're like 300 big blinds effective. Cutoff opens, you 3-bet button. If it gets folded back around on the cutoff, like, Queens is probably not even a 4-bet. I mean, maybe it's 4-bet some of the time, ace king suited, aces kings. But now that you've got like a dead caller there in the big blind, if I were the cutoff, I would have a robust 4-betting range for value and sort of kind of with some bluffs as well. Maybe even some of my ace-x suited types of hands, like ace-5, ace-4, something like that. And I very well might even 4-bet jack-jack here, where I would never, as jack-jack probably, or jack-jack or 10-10, whereas jack-jack or 10-10, just heads up would pretty much always be a pure call, I feel like, even cutoff versus button. So you have to obviously keep that in mind, Right,
yeah, and that's the thing, too, is that I have a lot of history with the cutoff, and I know that he's sentient to his surroundings and his positional awareness. I do agree that, you know, he's going to be squeezing pretty light there. You know, maybe even as light as like Jack 10 suited, hands like that, like you said, he's 5 suited, 10s, etc.
Yeah, okay.
So anyways, it's 750 to the flop.
Yep.
And the flop is deuce of diamonds, jack of hearts, 3 of spades.
Deuce of diamonds, jack of hearts, 3 of spades. Okay.
Right. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. I didn't really expect this to happen, but it actually checks to me on the button. And I guess that really threw me off because in game I was kind of thinking, you know, okay, what sizing is this cutoff going to take that's going to warrant me to continue here? So when it checked me, I didn't really know what to do, but I kind of, in the moment, like had this, like, you know, overarching feeling like I needed to bet for protection somewhat. Like, I felt like there's a lot of cards on the turn that could be bad for my hand, you know, like an 8, 9, a 10, a jack, a king, a 8.
Sure.
So I made a bet. I bet 300. I don't know. Do you like this bet or not? Like at the second the chips left my hand, I was kind of like, oh. Like, because I felt like if I did get called, you know, I'm still in a pretty tough spot.
Well, I mean, so whenever you're thinking about betting for protection, and I don't have a problem with the protection bet here, okay? I mean, what's interesting here is you would think in almost, and that is another thing that's brought out from the computers and even in some top section, in a lot of top section stuff that we do on Crush Live Poker, that almost every single board, especially this one for sure, is c-bet by the pre-flop 4-better.
Right.
With the exception of some very, like, you know, maybe he's not going to c-bet like 8, 9, 10, right? Or something like that. But on a board like this should be c-bet in theory. So that's kind of interesting. But I would say that when you want to bet for protection, you don't use a large sizing. So if the pot was 750, I think that I might bet 200 to 250. I don't think that I would check it back. I think I would bet for protection. I would just tend to bet a little bit smaller than what you did. But the bet in itself for protection certainly isn't bad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know. All right, so I have the pot at 1350 now. Oh, I'm sorry. The big blind ended up folding.
Okay, so big blind folds.
And the cutoff calls.
Cutoff calls. Okay. So it's like 1150? Oh, you bet 300, so it's 1350.
Correct, 1350.
Yep. Okay.
So the turn's a 7 of spades.
7 of spades, okay.
And it goes check, check.
So he checks and you just check it back really quickly?
I mean, I thought about it. I feel like at this point I was really running out of value. You know, this is pretty dry.
Hey there, my name is Christopher Walker, and I'm the co-founder of Umzu. And Umzu, we're a natural health supplement company, health product company. And one of my favorite things I'm going to talk to you about today that I use on a daily basis is called Umzu's bone broth. So we're calling it Zoo Broth. So essentially, this bone broth is amazing. It's made out of grass-fed beef, and the grass-fed
dry flop. You know, even if he's wide enough here to be, you know, peeling with a hand like 10s or ace-5, like, I feel like I'm ahead of it, and if he checks the river, I can go for value on the river.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure about the value part of getting called by worse, because it's just like the pot is so big, and you bet flop, and it's a 4-bet pot. It's like you just don't have many of those straight draws. I mean, you could certainly bet again here, kind of for that 1/3 to 1/4 pot sizing for protection again, and then just check back. The check in a 4-bet pot after you check calls, it's probably not terrible. I can definitely see, you know, and now with one card to come, you're not really protecting against all that much either. Right? So
right, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, is like if I was gonna bet for protection on the turn there, like what are we really trying to protect against that called on the flop?
Yeah, I mean, I can, again, I mean, it may be like a hand like 10, 10, 9, 9, but most of these hands all should be taken for protection betting themselves. So it's really unorthodox, as somebody in the live chat is saying anyways, the whole situation. So you check it back, the pot's 1350, and you guys have what, like right around 1,000 left, a little over 1,000, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so the river's 8 of spades.
So the river's the 8 of spades, so it brings in backdoor spades. So again, for the podcast, some people are like, why do you repeat it? Why do you repeat it? It's because people listen to this as a podcast. Cutoff opens to 20, you 3-bet on the button with queen, queen to 80, big blind calls. Cutoff 4-bets to 250. You call, big blind calls, pot 750. Jack of hearts, deuce of diamonds, 3 of spades. Check to hero, bets 300, big blind folds. Cutoff calls, pots 1350. Turns a 7 of spades, it puts a backdoor spade draw out there. Check, check. Now the river's the 8 of spades, so it puts the backdoor spade out there. Jack of hearts, deuce of diamonds, 3 of spades, 7 of spades, 8 of spades. 1350. Okay.
And villain thinks for about 5 to 10 seconds and jams.
So cutoff jams for what we said, like 1,050 or something?
1,050 is what I have, yeah.
1,050. So the pot's going to be 2,400 and 1,050 for you to call. So you're getting about 2.5 to 1. I kind of feel like I want to overfold in this spot. Trying to think of what kind of hands here would be the bluffs for this guy that would sort of be out to left field. Again, the whole thing is sort of crazy because of the check on the flop. I mean, what bluff would he check call with here? Something that has the ace of spades in it. If he was even out so far as to out to left field, having like, you know, ace 5 off with the ace of spades, that was something. I mean, that's as far out to left field. Ace king with the ace of spades, ace queen with the ace of spades. You know, ace king with the ace of spades
gets paid.
Obviously, you don't really have kings or aces here. Maybe your small bet on the flop followed by a check through on the turn will quote unquote cap you, even though I think that term is misused all the time, meaning that you're just not going to have 3 jacks here. If he blocks aces and kings, then, you know, maybe, like I said, ace king with the ace of spades might be a good one, where it just he doesn't feel like he's got the showdown value. But again, it is one of these things where I just feel like it's super duper underbluffed in this spot. Just a small thing too. When we're looking at hand composition, it's slightly better now that you have the queen of spades. So if you were like, I've got queens, there's 6 combos of queens.
Here we go. Now this
right,
what I'm
that
pushing.
I can possibly have with my queen on the board.
This one's going down.
Which are the ones that are the best to call with? You try to call with.
Everybody else got way
Excuse me. What did I say? It was slightly better. Or yeah, you try. Yeah, you would try to call with the one with the spade in it as opposed to the one without it, just because there's less combinations of flushes that he could actually have. Right.
Cool.
So I would probably overfold. Kind of in this spot. What ended up happening?
I did fold, and this kind of factored into my decision too. I kind of wanted to ask you, did you ever think about this against this particular villain? A lot of hours with, like,
me in there.
I feel like all the showdown with him, like in big pots. Like I've always had.
All right, I'll be back tomorrow.
Like, that I've been nitty. Like
I got all
like,
my
with this
equipment
particular
working.
villain, I feel like my bluffs have always kind of got through, and then I'm showed down with him.
Oh well. That's why they call it gambling, people. Decent tournament. I'll learn how to get the equipment to work. We'll see if I can do better tomorrow. Okay. End of stream.